Tales of Kindness. The Forgiving Friend. Rabbit was hard at work in his garden. Everything he had planted was ready to pick. Luckily, Pooh happened by at just the right time. "Hello, Rabbit," said Pooh. "It looks like you've got more vegetables than you can handle. I could ask our friends to come help." "Brilliant idea, Pooh," said Rabbit. "Do hurry and bring everyone here. We've got a big job ahead of us." Pooh's first stop was Kanga's house. Roo was in bed with a cold. "I'm so sorry, Pooh," said Kanga. "Roo isn't feeling well, so we won't be able to help with Rabbit's harvest. Please tell him we're sorry," said Mama Roo. So Pooh went off to find his other friends and bring them to Rabbit's. When they all arrived, Rabbit explained, "If we each take a wheelbarrow and fill it with vegetables, we should be able to gather most of the crop." So the friends pushed Rabbit's wheelbarrows into the garden and began to pick row after row of eggplants, cucumbers, carrots, cabbages, tomatoes, and parsley. After a long day's work, Rabbit told his friends to help themselves to his vegetables as a reward for their hard work. "I don't think we are done," said Piglet, looking around. "Let's meet here tomorrow and finish the job." Rabbit patted Piglet on the back and thanked him. Early the next day, Piglet met up with Pooh on their way to Rabbit's house. "Before we go to work in the garden, it might be nice if we check on Roo," said Piglet. Pooh agreed. At Kanga's house, Roo was very happy to see his good friends. "How are you feeling today, Roo?" asked Piglet. "I'd feel better if I had some of Mama's vegetable soup," said Roo. "But we don't have any vegetables, so she can't make it." "Stay right here, Pooh," said Piglet. "I'll be back in a jiffy." Piglet went straight to Rabbit's house to ask for some vegetables. But when he got there, he could not find Rabbit. Said Piglet, eyeing the rest of the vegetables in the garden. "I don't think Rabbit would mind if I took these for Roo." Piglet hurried back to Kanga's house and saw that Pooh had already left. "Why don't you stay and have some vegetable soup with us, Piglet?" asked Kanga. "I know it would cheer Roo up enormously," said Kangaroo. Later, when the rest of the friends got to Rabbit's garden, they saw that the vegetables had already been picked. "This calls for a little investigating," said Tigger. "And I intend to get to the bottom of the case of the disappearing vegetables." First Tigger approached Rabbit. "Now, long ears," he began. "Where were you on the morning of—" "Don't be ridiculous," said Rabbit. "Why would I take my own vegetables? Go bother someone else, Tigger. I've got work to do." So Tigger headed off through the wood. Looking down, he noticed a trail of parsley leading all the way to Owl's house. "I knew it!" Tigger cried. "Old Beak Lips did it!" But when he got to Owl's, all he could find were a couple of parsley sprigs in a vase with some flowers. "If you think I took Rabbit's vegetables," Owl said, You would be sadly mistaken. Goodbye. Next, Tigger went to visit Eeyore. Maybe you took all the greens, donkey boy, he said, because you thought they were thistles. I believe I know a thistle from a cabbage, Eeyore replied. Frustrated, Tigger bounced off to Pooh's house. Okay, Buddy Bear, he cried, bouncing on top of Pooh. Fess up! But all Pooh could say was, I didn't do it, through a large mouthful of honey. Pooh eventually explained that he had once tried dipping vegetables in honey, but he'd ended up just licking off the honey and throwing away all of the vegetables. Tigger was stumped. Well, he said, I guess there's no reasonable reason for you to take the vegetables. Later, Pooh. Tigger bounced off, even more determined to solve the mystery. Just then, Tigger realized that he hadn't been to visit Roo. I gotta go see my little buddy as soon as I've wrapped up this frustrating mystery. Now there was only one friend left to investigate, and that was Piglet. Tigger said, looking around Piglet's house. I don't see any vegetables here. You're off the hook, Pigletto. On his way to visit Roo, Tigger remembered that he'd wanted to bring him a little get-well present. He bounced home to get one. At home, Tigger cried, Wait a minute, I forgot to investigate myself. And with that, Tigger turned everything upside down and inside out in search of the missing vegetables. Nope, not even a turnip, he said. I'm off to Roo's. Along the way, he stopped to pick a bunch of daisies for his little friend. When Tigger got to Roo's house, he saw that Kanga had cooked up a storm. Did all these vegetables come from your garden? He asked. Why, no, Tigger, said Kanga. Piglet was kind enough to bring them. And where do you suppose he got them? Asked Tigger suspiciously. From Rabbit's garden, of course, she replied. Aha! The case of the mysterious disappearing vegetables was solved. I knew it all along, cried Tigger. I've got to go tell old Long Ears. Be back in a jifferoo, little buddy. Tigger bounced fast and furiously to Rabbit's house. When he told him that the mystery had been solved, Rabbit was not pleased. Piglet should have asked before taking my vegetables, said Rabbit, and I planned to tell him so. Tigger and Rabbit found Piglet at Pooh's house. I wanted to ask you first, Rabbit, Piglet began. But you weren't home. I didn't think you'd mind since the vegetables were for Roo. Here, take these haycorn muffins as an I'm sorry gift. Rabbit softened after listening to Piglet. Never mind, Piglet. I forgive you. Then he looked at Piglet's basket. Why don't we take your muffins and the last of my vegetables over to Kanga and Roo right now? At Roo's house, Rabbit and Piglet presented their gifts. I hope you're planning to stay for dinner, said Kanga. This forgiveness business looks pretty tasty, said Tigger. Let's eat. After dinner, Pooh thought of a perfect little forgiveness poem. When someone makes a big mistake and borrows what's not theirs to take, don't hold a grudge that will not end. Why not be the forgiving friend? The end.